Hello and welcome to the Enterprise Talk Conversation Series, a peer knowledge resource by the CXOs for the CXOs. Now to our host, Kanika Goswami.
Have with us Sridhar Iyengar. He's a managing director Europe at Zoho Corporation. Hi Sridhar, welcome to the podcast. Great to have you here with us.
Hi, Kanika. Thanks for having me here. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, and we're more excited to speak to you. Zoho is such a fast growing company. It's great for our audiences that you're here to share your insights with us. So, a little bit about Sridhar first. He attended the RV College of Engineering in Bangalore. Being a part of Zoho since inception, he says he's thoroughly enjoyed his journey from a bootstrap startup to a global software company, of which he's been a part from day one. Sridhar believes in win-win partnerships based on sustainable business models, ethical principles, and the power of synergistic ecosystem. That probably explains the entire business ethos that Zoho is all about: collaboration and people working together seamlessly. These synergistic ecosystems he's talking about create a positive impact for customers, employees, partners, and business and the society. Being an engineer at heart, Sridhar loves the art of building stuff that is built to last. So we can expect the same for Zoho as well, I'm guessing.
Absolutely. That's the core philosophy behind the company.
Right. So I would like to request you, Sridhar, to introduce Zoho as you see it, and how do you think our audience would like to, see the company? Apart from just, being a brand, we are almost all of us that everyone who is in the enterprise industry today is in touch with Zoho one way or the other. So you tell us what do you think about it from the inside.
Sure. Thanks, Kanika. Thanks for the introduction. You've been very kind with that. So to introduce Zoho to our audience here, Zoho, let me talk about two things. One is what we do as a company, and second is who we are as a company, what do we stand for, right? So on the first part, from a business standpoint, we are a SaaS business provider of business application. We offer business applications to power various aspects of this business, various departments within an organization. So think of it as a sales team would need a CRM to engage with their customer. A customer service team would require some kind of a help desk software. Your marketing team would need marketing automation software. Your HR team needs people management software and all that. And same thing with IT. Same thing with finance team would need accounting software. So we call ourselves the operating system of business because you have to power the entire business on our digital platform. And that digital platform is what Zoho offers. But that's on the business side, what we do. But we're also a company um, who've been around for a long time. So it's 27 years now and counting. And as a company, we've been privately held. We're bootstrapped, and with an intention to stay in this business for forever, actually. So a lot of companies have an exit strategy. We have a no exit strategy in that sense, and that makes it interesting. And that is also drives the philosophy and decisions that we do. If you're in the business for long term, you have to act and think in a certain way that's in line with keeping your business sustainable for long term. And that's, to the stakeholders that you have to keep in mind always are your customers and your employees. So that's a quick introduction about who we are and what we do.
We can start with the questions now. Businesses rely heavily on third-party applications to streamline their work processes. How do the clients ensure that the vendor is not misusing sensitive business and customer data?
This is a very relevant question, Kanika, because in today's world, a lot of, and not just enterprises, but we as individuals, we as users of digital system have woken up to the fact that digital systems are capturing a lot of data. A lot of that has to do with not just business data, but also personal information. That means identifying who we are as a person, the individuals, maybe phone numbers, email address, uh, home address, and all that, right? So this awareness about a user's privacy and the security of any business has become very relevant and very important. So for a business, it's very important to keep this in mind because as businesses get on the digital bandwagon, people call it digital transformation. There's a lot of information and data captured, and they have to make sure that the partners, the digital partners, the digital enablers, the digital platforms that they use are secure, are they have the right intention in mind when they engage with their clients and customers, and they're in addition to that, so it comes back to that trust that they build with the providers, and how do they put in some checks and balances to verify that that's really the case. So these are some processes and systems that any client or any enterprise should put in place in engaging with the partners. Also to ensure that they partner with the right kind of company who have their best interest in mind.
Yeah, that's another question which I was going to ask in the end, but now that we're talking about it, we can actually, discuss this. So how would you recommend enterprises vet their providers around their security and privacy practices as part of the buying decision at all? So do they take a privacy first approach, or that is for the customers, or do you offer, for instance, for your products, a robust security and have a historical track record in both these aspects? How does it work? How does one identify the best MSP
Sure,
possible for this particular collaboration?
absolutely. See, when you talk about buying decisions and evaluating the right provider, right? A lot of people look at functionality, functionality, security. Those are the regular, let's say, checkbox items that make it to the list. So people look for enterprise customers look for whether the providers have the right security systems, right functionality, is it at the right price points, is it the right set of trust built in. One important aspect that they should definitely consider is, does your partner or your vendor or supplier's business model align with your best interest as a company? And that's very important, right? So if you're partnering with someone whose entire business model is based on monetizing customer data, then obviously you have to really cut that equation and that relationship, because what your vendor or supplier is doing may not be in your best interest as an enterprise customer. So that's very important. And so it goes beyond that, because that's what establishes this trust, right? So I mean, I'll take Zoho as an example here. Then, so GDPR came. GDPR, people are aware of GDPR and privacy laws. It came into fashion 2018 when Europe and a lot of other countries started adopting it. But we've been very conscious about keeping customers' data privacy intact. We said that we never monetize customer data, never will. It's not something that we started thinking about in 2017, 18 because of GDPR. This was the founding philosophy of the company 27 years back, much before GDPR came into fashion. So that tells you what a company stands for, what are the things that they value, what they will compromise, that they will not compromise, right? So that talks about what your business model is. And that gives customer a sense of assurance that, okay, whatever may happen when I partner with such a provider, they have best interest in mind, so I can rest assured that privacy aspect is taken care. Similarly, security, right? We invest a lot in security systems, the security teams, ethical hacking, just to make sure the systems are robust and they're highly secured. So this also adds to that layer of trust and assurance that a customer feels, right? So these are some aspects that any enterprise have to take into consideration, apart from the other aspect of functionality, usability, and in general affordability. I'll speak a little bit about affordability as well. The total cost of ownership, as a lot of companies say, right? It's not just cost of an application. It's basically entire spectrum of total cost, which means that is the system usable by your team as a customer, right? You're making a buying decision. Is the system usable? Can you train your employees on it? Is maintenance easy? Can you make customizations? Can you make integrations with that easily, right? How quickly can you roll it out? Let's say you purchase a system that's going to take you a year to roll out. That can be very expensive, right? And expensive not only in terms of deploying the solution, but also lost opportunity. If you're going to market a year later, that's lost opportunity, right? So these are aspects that any enterprise customer has to consider before making such decisions.
Thanks for that, Sridhar. So we'll talk a little bit about the technology that you're using for the platforms, and I'm sure that's a completely evolving process. Uh, but then we'll speak about AI, which is also undergoing a rapid evolution. So what are the potential unexplored areas in business processes management that enterprises could benefit from if they adopt AI as a part? I mean, as various different tools or as a part of a platform, for instance, like Zoho's. What is it that
Absolutely.
it can provide?
Okay. So AI is a technology that we've heard of very frequently in the last few years, but especially more in the last few months because of applications such as ChatGPT, generative AI capabilities, and generative code generation. So things like that, right? That the awareness has accelerated. The possibility to adopt has also accelerated. So if you look at it, why is there so much interest in what enterprises can take from that, right? So the AI, the maturity of AI technology is rapidly accelerated in the last few years. And if you look at it, the focus is on automation, focuses on processing huge, vast amount of data to glean some kind of meaningful insight from it so that business users can make the right decisions, they can actually drive good decisions, they can pivot if there's a need and things like that, right? So this is what enterprises can expect in the next few months or next few years, because this is still early days. We are talking about AI still has a long way to go. A lot of, let's say, the first set of problems that AI can tackle is automation, maybe based on what we've seen in the recent past, also, generate some kind of basic algorithm programs that can lead to, systems and processes being developed quickly, being able to be deployed quickly, and it's all about time to market in that sense. Third aspect is about, large amount of data, being able to correlate that. See, because every business today is trying to give a superior customer experience to their users and their clients. And this is again another aspect of how AI can help these business users. Because there is a lot of data in any enterprise, right? So data related to, let's say, what a client has purchased, data related to where they are in their own maturity cycle, data related to what they value from their customers. So there's a lot of data, but unfortunately, a lot of these data sets also sit in silos. And this is one capability that AI can actually offer to bring these data points together, connect the silos, be able to make sense out of it, and be able to correlate and present it in an easily digestible way, in a very fast and in near real time. And if that happens, enterprises can get a lot of useful information related to their customers, and that can help them serve their customers better. It's all about providing a superior experience just because you have the technology now to process all those data points and focus on what really matters to your clients.
Right. So, speaking of the market, what does the future of customer relationship management look like to you? And what are the core technologies that could revolutionize the customer experience?
Absolutely. So if you look at the customer relationship management market, fortunately, we've been in this market for a long time now, almost close to 20 years. We developed our own leading CRM systems. So if you look at it, let's go back a decade or more. When people talked about customers relationship management, the focus was on just a CRM application, right? That means having a repository of the customer information, understanding what they do. But today, the scope of CRM itself has broadened to cover something that we call as customer experience, customer engagement, and that's evolved as a platform. That means you engage with your clients or your customers not just during the sales cycle or during the point of sale, but also engage with them along the journey of when they discovered you. Let's say today's world, every system, every business is a digital business. So you would have your customers visit you on your website, engage with you, ask some questions on the website. Now, that information is also crucial. It gives you very useful information on what your customers and clients are looking for. So again, that's also become part of your customer relationship management software now. Similarly, if you have to run some campaigns, if you have to do some promotion, you would engage with your customer. That's another touch point along the same journey of your customer life cycle. And but that's a different type of software. But that also, you know, is covered in the gamut of your customer experience. So the entire definition of CRM is broadened to include whatever is relevant and important for providing a great customer experience. It could be before the sales, it could be during the sales, it could be post sales. When you have to basically serve customer, support them and keep them happy and engage them on a continual basis. So your CRM system, the definition has evolved. We at Zoho have also we discovered that close to 10 years back, and we've released our own set of products and capabilities which provide this customer experience platform to our users to serve their users well.
Right. And this is the last question. How can businesses democratize business processes and data to ensure efficiency without compromising on security? It will, I think, kind
That's
of take off a little bit about a lot of things you answered in the earlier questions, but
right, right. No, no, that's also a different and interesting aspect to that. Again, a valid question. Because typically, if you look at how enterprises operated, it was a command and control, right? So which means that orders would come from the top and the teams would just have to execute it. When we talk about democratizing a system or a process, we're talking about giving that authority and that power to the user, to the people who are closer to the decision and who are in the right position to make the decision because they just have better visibility at. So think of it as, you know, regional sales, right? So would a regional sales manager be in a better position to make a decision about regional sales, or would let's say a director of worldwide director of sales be able to make that better decision? Obviously it's basically the regional sales manager because they're closer to the problem, they can take better well-informed decision, collaborating with their colleagues. So in that sense, so enterprises, for them to scale up, they have to be able to uh, delegate, they have to distribute ownership, responsibility, and a lot of that has to work in tandem with these digital systems, which means when you delegate, when you distribute, and when you decentralize, then decentralization is the key. You have to push decision making and also authority as in permissions for your digital system. So your digital user should have the authority to make these decisions, and that's possible through your software configurations and all that. And you need the culture to support it, of course, because the culture means you are trusting someone to take the right decision. And sometimes they may make a mistake, but that's okay as long there is learning and as long as that person is able to evolve into a someone who's able to take better decisions along the way. So this command and control is moving to a more decentralized, or should move into a more decentralized and democratic system, and with the user being able to take some of these decisions. Let's take another example. I talked about sales earlier. Another area is business intelligence, right? um, we've always had cases that the enterprise was sitting on loads of data trying to make sense out of it. Earlier, you had the IT team, which was kind of the, let's say, the caretaker of all this data, all these warehouses containing data. They would make meaningful reports, analytics on what the business user would want. Fast forward to today, now these business users have the capability to quickly generate the kind of reports, analytics, dashboard that they want. And the BI systems are supporting it. The analytics system are supporting it because they are more intuitive. They cater to a business user and not just to an IT person. So even someone who doesn't have the knowledge of programming can use it. So that's another example of democratizing the system. Again, even in the BI area, we offer products which we call as self-service BI. It's meant for the business user to be able to do their job effectively without going to an IT team or someone else. It's about, and if enterprises are able to do that, they can move very quickly. They will have an empowered team, and at the end of the day, empowered team can engage with customers very well.
That is correct. So, end of our questions. Just one quick information that if you would like to share, what's next for Zoho? What are you looking at? What is next for business automation? And where is Zoho, planning to focus its energies now going forward?
Okay, so that's a very loaded question because so you've asked me to paint a picture of the future for Zoho. So I'll talk about a few things. On the product and technology side, there's a lot happening, especially in today's world. You talked about AI, you talked about automation, you talked about enterprise readiness, capabilities that can can provide a great user experience, customer experience. That is one area of focus for us, right? We've seen cases where data resides in silos, um, data don't, systems don't talk to each other. So one takeaway for us is there's still a lot to do in terms of providing a seamless, great user experience when it comes to business software. That's still not a solved problem. And when I say user experience, is not about using one specific application. It's about tying in these different parts of application, different applications across departments, across teams, across silos, so that teams can work very effectively in a very collaborative way. That's on, and technology is what powers that, right? We talked about AI, we talked about code generation using AI technology, we talked about analytics, we talked about CRM. There's a lot of there's a lot of technology shifts in different on each of these different areas, and that's something that we will continue to focus on. Deepening our capabilities of this, deepening our own understanding and ownership of this technology stack. In fact, one thing I didn't mention earlier is when I talk about our platform, we own the entire stack from the servers that they run on, the application, the database. There's a lot of technology and R&D investment that we do. Because if we are into the business long term, we need to have very deep capabilities. And that offer a differentiator to our customers. So that's in the technology part. The second is the reason why I'm in Europe now is as part of our international expansion. So we are expanding, putting down our offices, our roots in various parts of the world, being closer to markets, closer to customers, understanding different markets, understanding what customers need in different geographies. And those could be very different in two different geographies. What a customer wants in Europe could be very different from what a customer wants in, let's say, Japan. So be able to prioritize that and see how we can understand and serve customers in these different markets in a better way, right? So that's on the second part. Third part is, our own promise of, who we are as a company, what can customers expect from us? Close engagement, a company that takes data privacy, data security very seriously. That's at the heart of our business. And third is, a reasonable company that you can do business with and great customer support. So these, we are going to, push on all these different fronts, as we expand into the future.
Right. And then thank you so much for your time, Sridhar, and thank you so much for your patience while we were, fumbling in the beginning. But thanks
No
for
worries,
helping us out there.
Kritika. I enjoyed this, the conversation and the discussion. So, a pleasure.
Thank you so much for being with us. Please do follow us on social media for regular updates and new content.